So today's video, we're going to talk about giving up on trying to manifest your desires. This video is for those who are feeling frustrated and ready to give in the towel because it seems like nothing is working for you. This video is for those who feel like they have tried everything, every technique, every method, listened to every guru, read every blog post, watched every video, and yet nothing's changed. Nothing's happening. This video is for those who are growing increasingly more disappointed with each passing day. It feels like you're not getting anywhere, or perhaps it even feels like it's getting worse for you. What do we do in these instances? How do we deal with that growing sense of defeat? And should we ever just give up on the idea of trying to manifest what we want? Should we ever just call it quits on trying to manifest? The answer is one that many of you may not want to hear. But if you are feeling burned out, then yes, you must quit trying to manifest. Now wait, hold up. Before you go anywhere, before you click off in anger, hear me out first. If we're feeling burned out, exhausted, frustrated, and on the verge of quitting, then yes, we must stop trying to manifest. But that does not mean give up on your desires and walk away from them. There is a difference. And that's what I want to touch on in this video. Because the reason that we are having so many difficulties, the reason that it feels like we're not making any progress is because we are trying too damn hard to manifest. And this is something that I have spoken about often on this channel, but it bears repeating. So even if you have heard this before, maybe this is a message that you need to hear again as a friendly reminder. When we are in a state of trying, we are in a state of observing that we don't have what we want. And the dominant theme of this state of consciousness is the lack of our desire, the absence of it. The problem here is that when we are in a desperate state, we are conditioned to go into fix-it mode. We start to fixate on how to solve this problem. How do I make this thing happen? And we are constantly keeping our focus on how to obtain this thing. And the problem with this approach is that this is the observation of the lack of our desire instead of having what we want. Through the majority of the day, we are focused on how to acquire this thing that we want. And the underlying theme is still the same. I don't have it. And this is one of the biggest hurdles that we continue to run into. One of the main reasons that we do not see our manifestations come to pass is because we are spending way too much time trying to figure out how to fix the problem. We are paying too much attention on how to get what we want instead of just being who you want to be and experiencing what you want and going to the end in imagination. We're continuously looking at the means to the end instead of just going to the end because we fail to realize that the end already implies the means. As in, if we allow ourselves to just go within and experience what we want in imagination to the point where we leave that impression that whatever the means are to get you to that 3D outcome are already taken care of. All we need to do is live in the end. And yes, I know it sounds super simple in theory, maybe not so much in practice. But that is because, once again, we are focusing too much on fixing the problem at hand. It feels like we need to check off boxes and do these tasks, do these techniques, because once again, we're looking at them as a means to an end. And this is because we are so thoroughly conditioned in the belief that we need to work hard and do more in order to get what we want. I talk to multiple people every day who struggle with the fact that they feel like they are not doing enough to get their manifestation. And the irony in this case is that is the exact mentality that is holding us back and preventing what we desire to come to pass. This is our human instinct that says we need to control this process, that we need to manage in every moment what we're thinking, what we are doing, what we're imagining. The micromanaging and trying to control it is what is burning you out. And trying to control the process is just admission that you're fearful. And it is that simple. Because faith does not operate on needing to know every single detail and needing to get in there and fixate on everything on how to make this happen. When you know something is true, you're not stressed about it. You're relaxed. You don't need to do anything because it is already done. So yes, we must give up this natural instinct or urge to continue to try and manifest, to continue to try to get something outside of you. That if you do these things, then you will be rewarded with this outcome. That is a very oversimplification, and it is highly inaccurate, because when it comes to these teachings and this practice, working harder is the least effective approach. And the reason you are feeling this burnout and frustration and exhaustion is because you have been trying too damn hard. Now, all of that said, to be clear, this is not an encouragement to give up on your desire. This is not encouragement for you to just give up and walk away from what you want to experience. It doesn't mean to give up on your journey of self-transformation. It just means that we need to take a different approach. And the reason that we don't want to give up on learning about this law and learning about ourself and how all of this works is because, quite simply, the law is always working. The law is always in effect, whether or not we are aware of it. Whether we are conscious and deliberate or not, we are always outpicturing what we naturally believe and assume to be true. And this was a thing that I ultimately came to understand when I had my moments where I was ready to throw in the towel. And there were plenty of moments where I almost threw in the towel. I experienced the same frustrations, the same grievances, the same annoyances, that feeling of desperation and hopelessness. I have been there. But the reason that I never did quit on my desires or on these teachings, because inevitably I came to realize that this is true, that the law is always working, that I am always manifesting, no matter what. And what I realized is that I always had a choice to learn to do so consciously or effectively fall back asleep and fall back into the patterns of my old fears and insecurities. Because the truth that some of you may not want to hear is that we cannot just give up on the law. There is no off switch here. We can decide to give up and walk away from these teachings, but we're still going to be manifesting, only unconsciously. Because the truth that we inevitably come to find is that we are manifesting everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So what kept me going was the realization that by giving up on changing myself, on changing my self-concept, meant that nothing would ever change, meant that I would repeat the same patterns and same cycles with a different face, but the same old would continue to occur. So how do we move forward then? If we need to give up on trying to manifest, but not walk away from this entirely, how the hell do we navigate going forward? The answer comes down to one word: detachment. And I know detachment is a word that can strike a lot of fear and a lot of apprehension when people hear it. Because what a lot of people think, and the automatic reaction, is that I need to give up on what I desire, that I need to walk away from it. And to be abundantly clear, that is not what I am saying here. When I speak about detachment, I mean detachment from that old state, from that old story, from that old way of being. The old fears, the old habits, the old insecurities, all of the old conceptions of self that created all of the things that were unwanted and undesirable. Instead, we want to attach ourselves to the state of the wish fulfilled, but do so without forcing, without trying, without exerting effort. Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy have talked about how the number one reason we fail to see things come to fruition is because of too much effort, and because what we desire does not feel natural to us, because we're trying to force it. So we have to get out of the trying to fix it mode, from the how do I make this happen mode, from trying to get it mode. And this is where detachment comes in. This is where surrendering comes in. This is where letting go comes in. Letting go on trying to make it happen through your conscious thinking ego mind. And letting go in this context means to completely yield yourself to the inner self, the higher self, to God. Let go and let God, as some may call it. And I used to hate that phrase, but now I completely understand what it means. This means to stop going into detective mode, to fix-it mode, trying to hammer out a solution and figure it out. It means to stop thinking about what we need to do or what we're doing wrong or how do I do this right. Letting go means letting go of all of that. And instead, allow that persistent feeling of the wish fulfilled. It means trusting that when we feel that desired outcome, when we go to the end in imagination, that is us selecting the state we want to occupy. That by feeling ourselves as already having what we desire, that God is going to take over and deliver you to that end. Basically, to let go means to stop fighting. Stop fighting with yourself. Stop fighting with your mind. Stop fighting the natural flow of things. Stop resisting and pushing back against reality. Stop trying to change the mirror or the 3D reflection. Loosen that tight grip that you have on your desire. Give up all responsibility that as the ego self, as the human thinking mind, you can do nothing except trust and allow it to happen. This is the art of allowing. This is the art of surrendering. This is the art of going with the flow and knowing that every desire already comes with the ways and means of perfect expression. All we must do is get out of our own damn way. Give it to God, because as it says in the Bible, as man, I can do nothing, but with God, all things are possible. It means to stop stressing about being perfect of every little detail of your scene. It is surrendering the idea that if we are not constantly thinking and fixating on what we want, that it's just going to go away from us. Or that God, who gave you the desire to begin with, is going to give you something completely different. This is learning to trust. This is learning to grow your faith, which is why I stress it often on this channel. Learn to trust yourself as the operant power. And by trusting yourself, that is trusting your highest self, the I am, consciousness, awareness, the creator of all things. Because when we learn to loosen our grip and start to go with that flow and just stop fighting ourselves, that is where you're going to see everything start to unfold for you. Have you ever found it ironic that as soon as you stop fighting it, as soon as you have given up on trying to get it, that's when it shows up for you? That was certainly my experience and what ultimately led me to this realization. Yes, we need to stop trying so damn hard to manifest. But no, that does not mean that we need to give up on what we desire. Because whether we are conscious of it or not, our beliefs and assumptions is always outpicturing in our 3D experience. Our beliefs is what becomes our reality. And this is the case for everyone. There are no exceptions to this. There is no switch that we can turn on and turn off. And this is why I am insistent that you really begin to observe this for yourself. Test this law, play with it, have fun with it. What you will quickly come to realize is that what you already assume, what you feel to be true, the thoughts that you have, the interactions are going to show you that everything is truly being outpictured from you. Life is not happening to you, it is happening from you. That said, if you are struggling right now, if you are on the verge of giving up, if you are feeling exhausted and like you need a break, then for the love of everything that is good, take a break. It is okay to shut all this off for a while and just take care of you. In fact, that's what we have to do. Because as the operant power, you're always manifesting and creating from the state of consciousness you occupy. So if you are not doing very well mentally, if you feel like you just need to take a pause and time out for a sec, then it is completely fine to do so. I know the thought can seem scary if it feels like we have to be doing something or else we're not going to get what we want. But as I said earlier, this is entirely the wrong approach. As far as you The conscious thinking mind, you, the smaller self, the only thing that you are required to do is select a state to occupy. And we do that through our imagination, through allowing ourselves to imagine and embody what we desire to experience as if it is already done for you. That's it. That is literally it. After that, we must surrender and let go of trying to manifest. We must stop trying to push ourselves past the point of exhaustion. We must stop trying to force a feeling or a scene or sit and argue with ourselves all day. We must stop suppressing our emotions. We must stop being fearful of our thoughts. We have to give up that ego's need to control. Because once you do this, once you understand the art of surrender, the art of yielding yourself completely and fully to that state of the wish fulfilled, allowing yourself to enjoy it, marinate in it, relish, and feel deeply that you are that person, when you allow yourself to just surrender and enjoy that state, that feeling, when you stop trying so damn hard to control and figure out the how and try to fix it, try to micromanage it. Once you accept that as man, I can do nothing, but with God, all things are possible, that your desires are already gifted to you. You just have to get out of your own damn way. Once you do this, once you understand this, that is how you are going to effortlessly manifest the life you've always wanted. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope this really helped. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in checking out any of my other resources, such as my coaching programs, my workshops, my blog, my podcast, my social links, I've got a ton of resources down in that description box, so don't forget to check that out. Also, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel. Don't forget to check out my Manifestation Fundamentals playlist. Each video is a different topic, but it all talks about how to manifest the best life possible. So until we meet next time, all you beautiful people, please take care, be well, and never forget to get out of your own damn way. When you go with the flow, everything will fall into place for you. Happy manifesting, guys.